Hello and welcome, vegan savages, to another Ask Me Mondays, where you have the chance to ask me any questions you stuff to know about myself, about plant-based nutrition, about training, about whatever you want to know in my personal life. I don't know anything by far, everything I mean, but I give it the best to answer it, and if I don't know something I just tell you, and if I have an opinion, what I often have, then I tell you that as well. So ask your questions down below and we jump right into your new questions. Today I'm excited. I go today to my first Anonymous for the Voiceless, so my first Cube of Truth, and I try to approach people. Yeah, that will be fun. Of course I film it because I want to put it on YouTube. I will become the next James Espy, the next Earthling Ed, kinda, in German probably. I will see, because most people who I think I will encounter will speak German. So of course then I will approach them in German and put it on my German YouTube channel, vegains.de. But if someone speaks English, what easily can happen as well, because it's a really multicultural city. It's the capital city of Germany, Berlin, where I live and where it will be at. So if they speak English, then of course I will encounter them in English, approach them in English and put it on this channel right here. So if you don't want to miss that, then subscribe. And yeah, eventually I get some English people as well, because I want to do that more often, because I want to practice approaching people in real life. Because talking to the camera, it's so easy. You don't get feedback like, but what about this? But what about that? You can just talk what you think is true. And yeah, that's why I want to practice and show you how good or bad I am and improve. Anyways, stay tuned for that. And if I cannot find anyone who speaks English, then I gotta fly to London every now and then and do it there, because most people there speak English. And yeah, maybe I will move to London after the Veg Fest, which is next week, because I like it so much. We will see. Yeah, next weekend, Veg Fest, 27 and 28. I will be there at the Vivo Live stand, and I hope I see all your smiling faces. Let's get into your questions, shall we? Ask Me Monday, what EPA, DHA supplement do you use? I'm looking for a safe one, because I am a little worried to take one with mercury or other pollutants. If you want a safe one, then pick the vegan version made out of algae oil, not fish oil, because it is not grown in the ocean, which is unfortunately so polluted. And vegan DHA and EPA supplements, so vegan omega-3 supplements out of algae oil, are never grown in the ocean. They're always out of the ocean, grown in tanks, and they're pollutant free. And what I take, since I live in Germany and the Amazon store is German, I have a German supplement from ProFuel, and it's based of algae oil, and it's from ProFuel, to answer your question. But I think it's only available in Germany and some other European countries. But yeah, just when you Google for vegan omega-3 based on algae oil, you should be good. There are plenty out there, and more so, because people become more aware and don't want to harm the poor little fishies, right? Who wants to do that? Fish are animals, and they feel pain and they suffer. Why should we exploit them? They're just the middleman. They get their DHA and EPA, their omega-3, from algae, so why not go to the source directly? How important do you think buying organic is, especially for corn and soy, because of GMO? Yeah, first let's talk about GMO, and then we talk about organic, because the next question is also about organic. GMO, I made a post about it at Vegan Strength. I link it to you down below, where I go into details about GMO. And in short, I don't worry about it, because in Germany it's banned, it's illegal. We don't have GMO in plant foods. When it's imported in animal-based products, which I don't consume, then those animals probably or might have consumed GMO crops, but I don't consume them. But any import or growing GMO plant foods in Germany and most European countries is prohibited. So that's why I don't worry about it, because we have no GMO if you eat plant-based as I do. If I would live in the US, I would worry about GMO, and I would just buy the non-GMO version and it's easily found. You can find easily GMO-free soy, GMO-free corn. It might be a bit more pricey, but I would pay for it because I'm better safe than sorry, because GMO, it's really a experiment on humanity, what is happening right now. We don't know the outcome and I would rather be safe than sorry. But most GMO, genetically modified crops, are fed to livestock. So I would be much more worried about eating animal products because mostly for sure you get GMO recycled through the flesh, which has even more stuff you don't want, like saturated fats, cholesterol, lipids, hormones, animal protein, which increases cancer growth. So kick out the animal products, go for GMO options if you can. And if you want more details about GMO, I know very little about it because I didn't inform myself so much about it, because it's not a big concern, because I live in Germany and here it's mostly prohibited. For blends it's completely prohibited, and also the import. But if you want to know more, check out the post down below. Now let's talk about organic, because the next question is, hey, always love watching your videos. I have a question for you. What's your opinion on eating organic as opposed to conventional food? You don't seem to mention anything on your channel yet. It's believed to be a crucial and fundamental aspect of any healthy vegan and non-vegan diet. Thanks in advance. I mentioned it, and I think I talked about it in another Ask Me Mondays, but I made a detailed post at Vegan Strength, so let's hop into the post and see what I've said. Here we go. Organic versus conventional. People buy organic mostly for two reasons: more nutrients and less pesticides. Let's look first at nutrients. Hundreds of studies have been reviewed and researchers didn't find significant differences for most of the traditional nutrients like vitamins and minerals. They concluded that despite the widespread perception that organically produced foods are more nutritious, they didn't find robust evidence to support that perception. They did, however, find higher levels of phytonutrients in organic. What about pesticides? Yes, conventional produce has higher levels of pesticides, but that shouldn't stop us from eating conventional fruits and vegetables, because the benefits outweigh the little risk by far. One study found out that if Americans would just eat one more serving of fruit every day, that this would prevent 20,000 cancer deaths, whereas only 10 people would die due to the pesticides. So conventional fruits would only prevent 19,990 cancer deaths. Why take no risk at all and choose organic? But organic or not, we should never stop packing our plates with fruits and vegetables. I think we should live in a world where organic shouldn't be a word, but organic should be the default, that there is no conventional produce, it's all organic, and it shouldn't be named organic because everything's supposed to be organic, but that's not the world we're living in. And as you just learned, nutritionally, vitamins, minerals, there is no significant difference between conventional fresh produce or organic, so that's great. Organic has more phytonutrients, and phytonutrients are important, but we get them also through conventional, but more in organic, so that's a benefit for organic. And then of course the pesticides. Organic also unfortunately has pesticides, but far less than conventional. But as you just learned, conventional fruits and vegetables are still so crazy healthy, so packed with nutrients. Yes, they have more pesticides, yes, they have less phytonutrients, but if you cannot afford fully organic, what I completely understand, and I can't either, don't worry about it. Pack your plate with fruits and vegetables. They're conventionally grown because they're still so healthy for you. And I'm not at a point where I buy only organic, not even close. I would say about 50% of my fresh produce is organic and 50% is not. I also made a post about the clean and dirty this post right here that explains which fruits and vegetables are sprayed the least and the most, and which are the most I would mostly buy organic, and which are the least you can easily buy conventional. But yeah, the overall point is never ever ever dare you to stop packing your plate with fruits and vegetables if they're not organic. It's not like, oh, I cannot afford organic, so I don't buy it at all. No, they're so extremely healthy for you, even if they're conventional. So don't you ever stop packing your face with fruits and vegetables. Ask me Monday's question: what legumes and grains is it necessary to soak? So many different sources providing conflicting information. Is it just safe to soak them all? Also, I wondered, you soak grains and legumes to remove lectins and phytic acid to ease digestion. But if the bad stuff can leach out, does it mean the good stuff also leaches into the water? I know, people say, oh, you have to soak this, you have to soak this, that, this, that. In reality, you have to soak nothing. But what I soak is legumes that they cook faster. It just, when you soak them overnight, your chickpeas, your beans, they cook so much faster. And the rest, I don't worry about it. I don't soak it, and you don't have to, because you're right. You get rid of the phytic acid, of the lectins, but the lectins, you get rid of them by cooking. That is the important part. Don't eat your legumes raw, of course, and cook them, and then you get rid of all the lectins. And soak it so they cook quicker. But soaking everything, like soaking your nuts, I don't see a reason for that. Only for texture wise, that if you want to make like a nut cheese, that it blends easier than soak them. But yeah, don't make yourself crazy by soaking everything. Soaked nuts also don't taste good if you eat them just like that, because then they get so mushy. And you're right, not only the bad stuff leaks out into the water, also the good stuff, the vitamins, the minerals. Less with nuts and legumes, because they have a more protective hull or shell, and much more with vegetables. That's why boiling vegetables, you lose the most amount of nutrients compared to like putting them in a pan where all the liquid remains and you eat it, because a lot of nutrients leak into the water. And yeah, if you also consume the water or it vaporizes but it's still in the pan, then that's the healthiest. So you consume the water, but less with nuts and legumes, because the hull, the shell, it's stronger and it doesn't leak so much, but it still loses some nutrients. But don't worry about it too much. You just eat a couple more beans and you get the equivalent of the nutrients you'd lost. Probably only you have to eat 2 kidney beans, small ones, to make up for the loss. So it's really not much. But don't make yourself crazy about soaking. Of course, if you want to sprout something, it's necessary, but just for the day-to-day use. I don't soak any of my nuts. I only soak big legumes, so they cook faster, like chickpeas, like beans, like... That's it, I think. How do you avoid water retention and bloating while bulking? I made a video about why you shouldn't dirty bulk, which you can check out up here, and you should avoid that, being in a high caloric plus, because then you get bloated and look super puffy, because you eat way too many calories than you need. That's why I recommend lean bulking, only a slight caloric plus. And how I avoid to get super puffy? Eating clean, avoiding too much salt and oil and junk food, because especially the salt and the oil, but especially the salt, too much salt holds on to water, and thus you look way more bloated. So, and of course get rid of the animal products, because they're so rich in sodium, especially cheese, but avoid extra salt and salty foods to not get bloated. Often, and people get adjusted to it, and then they just look bloated all the time. Some people, you see them, they have such a cheese face, they look so bloated, and many people think, oh, it's just the way they look. No, they could look so much slimmer if they would cut out that much sodium. If they would cut out the cheese, all the extra salt, all the salty junk food they eat, they would look so less bloated. And yeah, cut out too much excess salt. And I lean bulk, meaning I'm in a slight caloric plus, and sometimes the caloric plus is bigger, and sometimes I don't feel so comfortable because I gained too much weight in form of fat. Then I just do a called mini cut, where I am in a deficit for a couple of days to a week to get back to a more comfortable weight, where I look in the mirror and I'm super satisfied. And you don't lose any gains in that time. Often you sometimes make even more gains because you only get weaker in the gym when you're in a deficit for a long period of time, but not a week or 2 weeks, not at all. It's even beneficial for your body. If you want to know all the reasons why, then check out the video about bulking up here. And one of them is, for example, that you're more motivated because you look leaner, your muscles pop out more, your abs become more visible, and then you're more motivated to train instead of when you get more bloated and puffy and thick, and then you feel like you don't even lift, and then you're not so motivated to train. But when you see more muscle definition, then you're often more motivated to train. So if you don't feel comfortable, then do a mini cut for a couple of weeks or a month, and then go back to lean bulking and avoid too much junk food, especially salt, and that is how you lean bulk without getting puffy or bloated. And that's it for this Ask Me Mondays. I make my post-workout meal now, then I go to the vegan store, the completely vegan store, and make a vlog. And after that, I go to the Anonymous for the Voiceless and approach the people on the street. And I'm like, hey, I'm so nervous. I only talked to a cam and now I talk to real people. Would you mind to go vegan, please? And buy my merch? Yeah, probably not like that. As I said, leave your new questions down below. I'm so looking forward. And what vegans look like this. With big fat pimples here, but only one. And when I ate animal products, especially dairy, I had pimples all over my face. And where can you buy this shirt? You know the place, vegansavage.com, and the best merch is yet to come. No, we already have such great merch. I love my merch, I love my designs, I wear them every day and I'm so proud. And if you want to become part of the movement, then vegansavage.com. Thanks for watching, until next time. What should I make for a post-workout meal? Smoothie bowl. Yes. Peace. Ouch. Ouchie. Out. I feel like this was a pretty boring Ask Me Mondays. Yeah, but I hope you learned something, and an entertaining vlog is probably coming tomorrow. So subscribe. And if you haven't, then catch up with my last videos. Double biceps, please. Side chest, please. Should I ever do a bodybuilding competition show?